Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back, welcome to. Appreciate the support, cuzzies. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is July 30th, 2025. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a window to my thought process on what I think potentially is playing out on Bitcoin over the next couple weeks and months. So this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. It has been a while, and if this is your first video, just to give you a quick background, I've been doing technical analysis for literally 18 years now. Staring at charts, figuring out what's bullish, what's bearish, what needs to happen. Secondly, I have been investing in trading crypto for about 11, 12 years now. I have experienced multiple halvenings and cycles, and because of that, I look for key things in the charts, and I follow certain rules that help me take the emotions out of my trading. The first thing is I trust charts over people. If you're new to the channel, the most recent wave was this one from 15,000. And I was telling everyone I am not, once again, not financial advice, but a good time to put more money in and have more reward than risk was 17.5, 15.5, 13.5. Every one from those levels is up a decent amount of money, about 500–600%. Now, the first thing that I think of is what needs to play out in order for this to end, right? Another thing that comes into my mind is I hope everyone's thinking, like, I don't chase green candles, right? As we go up, you should be in the mindset of taking profit. You should not be in the mindset of, I'm chasing this green candle to make more money. Okay, as of right now, we are getting closer and closer to the time where we're coming to an end, right? A blow off top, etc., etc. Have certain things played out yet? No. One thing that hasn't happened yet is Bitcoin's dominance. Bitcoin's dominance has not fallen while Bitcoin has stayed flat or is going up. The definition of that is alt season. Alt season is when your coin versus Bitcoin is going up, your coin versus the dollar is going up, and Bitcoin's going up. That allows your altcoins to go parabolic because you're getting a double positive. As of right now, Bitcoin's dominance has hit a certain level. We have gone from oversold, right? We went literally 2018 from 38 up to this 60–70 range. We then came down to the same level, and now we're approaching around the same range, right? Is there room to grow? Possibly, but like you're squeezing the lemon to get that last drop. So what do we look for? Well, first, I always start with longer time frames, monthly, weekly, because long-term trends will predict what short-term outcomes do. If your long-term trend is bearish and approaching bearish territory, I don't care if you're having a bullish scenario on a 20-minute time frame. You need to prepare for what's coming ahead. Now, you can't trade with weekly and monthlies, but it gives you clarity. Now, as of right now, what are we seeing? MACD still above the zero line, which means it's still in a positive territory. So even if a death crosses, the price can go flat. RSI went from oversold to overbought, was in section B, went in section A, popped its head above to section A+, and now we are below and below the moving average. We are still in section A. Section A is the 50 to the 70, which shows me that we could come down, but once again stay flat and go to the 11 and 21 day moving average of where we are right now, like that 58 to 60%. Stochastic RSI. The most bullish scenario is when it's on its way up from the 50 to the 70 and above the 70, the 80 line right here. You could see here, this is a continuation pattern. Even though momentum was coming down, we stayed above the 50. We stayed above the moving average on the RSI. That was a continuation to the upside. Now that the RSI is below the moving average, but we are still above the 50 line, think of it like a heat scale, right? This was the most bullish scenario, right? MACD pointing up, RSI above moving average in section A going up, stochastic above 50 going up. Now you only have 2 of the 3 working in your favor because yes, MACD is still going up, but volume's coming down. Stochastic is above 50, but is coming down. And the situation that has changed is now the monthly RSI is below. That hasn't been the case since here, right? January 2022. It has made higher highs, higher lows above the moving average. So the first thing that I notice, right, and try and teach you guys is you could just look in the past and see what has happened price-wise when those same stars aligned, right? That is the best teacher you're going to have. But you have to make sure the stars are aligned. What I mean by that is you can't look at a MACD that was below the 0 line and then what happened here when the stochastic was below. No, it has to be above the 50 and just breaking here. If you don't have that data, you can't compare apples to apples. The one that I see the most is like this one here, but this broke into section B, meaning this RSI broke below, but also broke below the 50. That is a different scenario when the RSI breaks the moving average, but is still above the 50. 2 different things can happen. Just want to point that out there. So once again, as of right now, worst case scenario is we go back to this level here of like 58 to 59%. And then we have to see if those variables that I told you start breaking down. Do we have a death cross? Does the RSI go to the 50? Does the stochastic go to the 50? Do they go to the 50 and bounce, or do they go to the 50 and fall through? Each one of those answers will have a different scenario. As of right now, we still remain somewhat bullish, and we could go flat for a little bit until you start seeing more hidden bearish divergence or regular bearish divergence on the indicators. That's when the asset is either forming a top or a bottom. When the prices are going flat, but your indicators are showing bullish signs, it's forming a bottom. When your price is going flat, but your indicators are showing bearish signs, it's forming a top. As of right now, it's just a consolidation, not forming a top yet. So technically, alt season starts when this happens. Okay. So let's go into Bitcoin, and there's a couple things that let's just go over the facts, right? That most people don't do. They want to give you their opinion. So May 2012 was the halvening. We went up and then we consolidated. May 2016 was the halvening. We had a pump and then we consolidated. Yes, we came back up. Remember, this high here, 14,000, did not break the high of 19,000. So these are things that I like to put in my brain, data, put them on the side, so that if a double pump happens again, you understand that it can happen, right? That's the whole point of learning history, so you don't get hit twice in the same spot. May 2020, we pumped up, had a double pump. This is what I'm talking about, forming a top. We had the same price action going to the top, but your indicators were going down. Everything was in the more bearish sections. Okay? May 2024. Now, the first thing that I want to point out to everyone is time, right? What was the time from here to about here? 579 days, give or take, right? Here to here, 579 days, give or take. Here, right? Technically, 549 days, give or take. Where are we now? About 426 days. So take this with a grain of salt. Could this be the first cycle that is in over 500 and something days, possibly, right? What is that? 369, just about what? 3-4 months away, technically. So I want to just once again keep in perspective just everyone's thoughts about how much time we have. Could there be a super cycle? What about if this time's different? I just showed you the data, okay? Each cycle is getting less and less as Bitcoin's market cap is getting higher and higher. Unfortunately, the next thing I tell you is the most important thing. The most important thing is market cap. You want to make the most amount of money, not financial advice. You want to find the layer 1 that is the most popular. This cycle, right, was Ethereum. You'd buy Ethereum, you would convert it to a poop coin that had a $50, $100 million market cap, and then you would go to like coin market cap and then just literally see your poop coin go from blah 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 market cap to a billion market cap, and you're making your 1000x, and then you take out your 1000% profit, and then you put it into a coin that has proven itself during bear markets to make higher lows. Not every altcoin has proven itself to make a higher low every cycle compared to Bitcoin. So once again, anti-inflationary vehicle. Most people are taking their profit from their poop coins and going back to Bitcoin, or the main 5, I would say. This cycle, from here, I would say to about here, it's Solana. Okay, the reason being is Solana was fighting with Ethereum for the layer 1 section, faster, cheaper, easier, blah, 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 blah. And there was more room for Solana's market cap to grow. So people were buying Solana, right? Converting it on their Phantom wallet, whatever the hell it's called, buying the poop coins go up, converting it back to Solana, and then just holding Solana because Solana went from $9 to whatever price it's at right now, and only Ethereum went from like 750 to 4,000. So once again, same time frame, right? Same time frame, but better ROI on a different layer 1. So the reason why I'm telling you this is I want you to think about this. I want you to learn from my mistakes, learn from my experience, and if 2028 comes around and you're still involved in crypto, I want you to find the layer 1 that is having the most amount of pumpage, and then I want you to look at the the altcoins that are built underneath there, and you could throw like 10, 20 bucks into like 100 projects, and you're going to make the most amount of money off of those. Not financial advice. So let's go back to Bitcoin. Do we have time, right? How much more time do we have? Well, from here to here is another 100, let's just say 150 days, okay? That would bring us to the 579 mark. December 2025. That's, what is that? A couple months away. So could we have potentially that alt season over the next couple of months? Potentially. Just want to throw it out there just based off time. Could it be 600 days? Potentially. But once again, what that means is you are overextending. Anything that is overextending in history is not a good time to buy, and it's usually forming a top, right? For example, the currency. Usually currency lasts about 150, 100 years, 200 years, something like that. The US dollar has had a run of, I think, over 200 years or something like that, something ridiculous. So what am I seeing? Right, monthly. Let's do the same technical analysis, but with the Bitcoin price chart, not the Bitcoin dominance chart. So as of right now, each wave on the MACD is getting lower. Volume is coming volume is coming down, but coming up on the short term. Excuse me, I can't talk. RSI. This is the most important thing, in my opinion. The RSI is making this symmetrical triangle. It's making lower highs, and it's making higher lows. And we're coming to this apex moment where it's like, is this a symmetrical triangle? and we have the last couple months of a hoorah. Bitcoin goes to 120, 130, 140,000. I'll show you the measured move. And Bitcoin's RSI on the monthly goes to a point where it has shown market tops in the past. If you remember me saying this, do me a favor, just like the video. It helps trying to grow this channel. So this was the market top regardless of your opinion in 2012, 2013. This was the market top regardless of your opinion on what was going on in 2017. This was the market top regardless of your opinion in 2021. And this is the market top regardless of your opinion in 2025. The measured move would be about the middle of the flag. Some people are going to tell you the biggest one. Some people tell you the middle, the smallest one, because once again, the most important thing when you're doing this is making sure your play hits. Right? If Bitcoin does go to 120, 130,000, it doesn't matter if you catch the exact bottom and the exact top. It just matters that you catch the majority of the play. So I like to catch the majority of the play. So I'm going to use around the middle. I'm going to say if we break out from here and we head to this range that I've said for a very long time, because I'm going to use the bottom of this support system right here, which was support, will be resistance if it is a resistance pattern, bearish pattern. So once again, if we break up and Bitcoin is at 78 to 84 in the monthly RSI, not financial advice, but you should be taking more profit off the table than purchasing it in. Another thing, trend lines go with the trend indicator. The trend indicator is a MACD. You are bullish when your short-term moving average goes above. This is called a golden cross. You are very bullish when you're in a golden cross position but above the zero line. You are even more bullish when your waves continue making higher highs. As of right now, your MACD is still pointing up, showing me that the trend line is still intact. This one. So if we were to have a consolidation, as long as the indicators remain in section A and remain bullish, we could have a healthy consolidation back to 102,000, but that low is way higher than the 75, which is way higher than the 50, which is way higher than the 25, which is way higher than the 15. So now I zoom in, right? Now I zoom in and I see, is there anything happening in the chart on a weekly that might be like the first crack in the ice? If you ever walked on like a frozen lake, you could clearly see if the ice is 5 inches thick and you could walk on it with confidence, or if you're starting to see some puddles and the weather's getting warm and you're starting to see like some cracks in the ice. That's what you do with technical analysis. You want to see what is the structure of the ice and can you walk on it. What that means is, are we forming bullish or bearish structures while price is doing something else? So price has been pretty much flat for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks now. We are between 116,000 and 120,000. When price stays flat, the first thing you should think of is what are the indicators doing during that time frame? Are they forming lower highs? Are they forming lower lows? Are they above or below certain sections to help you understand if this is a continuation to the upside or if we're going to have a small little consolidation to the downside? So, first things first, MACD. MACD did make a higher high. This high here is a little bit lower. If it is the next one, that is not good. RSI. RSI is making lower highs each time, while the price is making higher highs each time. That is called hidden bearish divergence. That means, yes, you could go up a little bit more, but you better take profits because, once again, the charts, I trust charts over people. Meaning if Bitcoin goes back above 220 and everyone's like, Joe's stupid, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and someone like Kramer comes out and is like, I'm buying Bitcoin, but the chart continues to make a lower high, lower high, lower high. Eventually, the charts don't line, it plays out. Okay, um, so that's that. The next thing I'm looking for is the structure within the waves. Okay, so here's the macro wave. Now I'm looking to see what is the structure. Are we above the moving averages? Are we above the 70? Are we below the moving averages but still above section A? Are we below the moving averages but now in section B? Different variables, right? It's a tree effect. You click one, it shows you different options. So you can see, right? 1, 2, 3, all right? Higher, 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 but now we're making that lower high. This is the crack in the ice. If we fall below the moving average, we have room to bleed back to the 50. We have previous data to show us what happens when this happens. So now, very simply put, well, every time I circled, we had a healthy consolidation. We had a healthy consolidation. We had healthy consolidations. We had healthy consolidations. And we're here, right? Now I'm curious if the healthy consolidations went back to the 11 and 21 day moving average. You could see here the first time to the moving average, to the moving average, to the moving average, to the moving average. Did we fall through the moving average? Yes. So step one is, are we buying around the moving average, or should we see what's happening around the moving average? We should see what happens around the moving average. And once again, the price could come back to here and do something like this. Very much on the table that we fall back to at least the top of the candles, right? Because once again, what was resistance will be support in a continuation, and what was support will be resistance in a continuation pattern. If this is a continuation pattern, your most recent highs, which is resistance, is this level here of 109 to 111. So if we do come back, that is your step one to see if we come back down and then once again stay above the 50 and all that other nonsense and yada yada yada. Another thing that I am noticing is the stochastic RSI. The stochastic RSI is also making a lower high. I'm going to set an alert on the 80 on the weekly to see if we fall through. If we fall through, we have room to bleed. I'm also going to set an alert on the 6467 on the RSI regular, because if we fall through, we have room to bleed. I'm also going to set an alert on the MACD notifying me when that death crosses. That is pretty much the video in a nutshell, and that's what I'm going to be watching. So I'm waiting to see what happens today with Jerome Powell and yada yada yada, and I'm curious to see if we do have a healthy consolidation over the next couple of weeks back to the 106 to 109,000. Love you guys. I hope you learned something from these videos, because it's the same thing every single time. It's just the process of learning long to short, what's bearish, what's bullish, not considering news for technical analysis. So what I mean by that, just to end this quickly, a lot of these projects have a lot of good things going for them and prices going up. But when you have my experience, you understand that prices and projects have nothing to do with each other. I have been following Ripple, XRP, for literally 9 years. I've been invested, hypothetically, if anyone's listening, in XRP even before it was even on Coinbase, okay? Multiple times I did not take the profit I should have because I was caught up with, oh my God, they have this one on their team now. Oh my God, Bill Clinton's talking at their blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, Ashton Kutcher was just on Ellen because of blah, 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 and he did a transfer. Oh my God, did you see that blah, blah, blah is helping this country now? Man, do you see that they're part of the IMF and this and that and blah, blah, blah? Meanwhile, the chart does have a consolidation every single bear market, okay? The most important thing is when the bullishness starts, not when you buy, okay? What I mean by that is the last bear market was here. XRP went from 20 something cents to now $3.23. Is there potential room to grow based off this market structure that I'm seeing? Yes. But don't get caught up if something happens with the lawsuit or Brad Garlinghouse comes out and says something about Swift thinking about an XRP is at $4 and something cents, and you think it's a good time to buy because of the news. Meanwhile, the chart is saying there's not that much room, you know? I don't want to listen. This is an ascending triangle. You've had the same resistance at this level of $1.86 and higher lows since literally 2020. If this were to break out, right, it would, and it's doing it. It is using the $1.90 something, which was resistance, as now support, which is what? A continuation pattern to the upside. The measured move is technically $9. That's if you were to take the meat and potatoes and then bring it here. Once again, you know, that would be a 3,500% return. You always have to consider what the last bear market price was and how much these people are up now. So they're up 1,300%. Anyone that was listening to me when I was saying accumulate at these prices, it looks like a W pattern. That is another pattern that I am noticing, and I've said in the past, right? You have 1, 2, right? That is also a measured move that technically you would take from here and then you would go to the breakup, and it also takes you to that price. When and how does that happen? Bitcoin's price needs to go up. XRP versus Bitcoin needs to go up, right? If you remember me showing you this chart and saying this only has happened a couple times. And when certain things happen and they're clear as day, you need to jump on the opportunity, right? Huge opportunity, huge opportunity, huge opportunity. And this was a huge opportunity. If you remember me saying that this was the best time to buy, do me a favor, like the video, put something in the comment section, help me help you, because it's the way this works. What needs to happen? Well, we need to go to the next parabolic level, right? I've said multiple times there's 3 levels, okay? And we went to the first one. Now we need to go to the second one, which is from here to here. Has it happened before? Yeah. You could see we went from here to here and stopped, and then the next candle went from here to here. We went from here to here, we were overbought, and then went from here to here. Came back down, went back up. This is stuff that you can do yourself, okay? Look what happened here. 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 And then look what happened recently. And then if this was to happen, well, what happened here? And then now you're doing technical analysis. So I gave you a little bit of homework, okay? So once again, monthly time frame, XRP versus Bitcoin on the Binance exchange, September 2018, December 2017, April 2017, December 2014. Put it in the comment section. Let me know the percentage. If it went up or down. Let me know the price if it went up or down. And now you understand data. And if someone says, should I take profit? Should I buy now? You understand ifs. That's all it is. If this happens, well, this is going to happen. If we see resistance, right, that's a possibility. You see we come down and come up, and then we came back down. Well, that's your risk. You're figuring out your reward, and you're figuring out your risk. And then you're figuring out where to put your alerts, right? Well, we could come down, but you could see like this is that support level, right? So if we break this level right here, know that there's room to bleed, at least to here. What happened here when we bled? What happened here? And what happened here? So you have 2 homeworks to do. Enjoy the day. Love you guys. Any comments, questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. I reply to everyone. Discord link will be in the description. That is free. There's a lot of people impersonating me, even though I only have a handful of subscribers. And thank you. I appreciate the support. Welcome back. Um, if nothing's happening in the market, I usually don't post. We're also at the part of the market where I made a funny joke, like, there's going to be a time when I don't post a lot because during the bear market, I don't do much. I'm stacking cash, waiting. So right now, I'm taking profit and waiting. There's not much trading going on right now. Enjoy the day. Love you guys.